What's up, everybody? What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is another special episode of the Extra Point After Dark. It's your man, your boy, Mr. P.L. Colter, checking in live from Dallas, Texas. And I got my partner in crime, my right hand woman, Miss Tasha T. Sizzle, down in the DR. What's going on down there?
Trying to prevent that Rona from getting here. Y'all stay up there. Don't visit.
Right, I ain't heard you say nothing about come visit me uh, since the Rona broke out. So everything's cool down there in the Dominican Republic. You look very islandy right now.
Man, I got my sunglasses on at night. Look at this pool. Look at
All
this,
right.
man. Look at this.
Oh,
Look at this. El Presidente. The oh, where am I? Here we go. Wait a minute. There we go. The
get it
beard
in there.
of the island.
That golden. You know what? So we're gonna rebrand this. Coming to you live from the set of my next birthday party post Rona.
Yay! Feliz
Welcome, welcome,
cumpleaños.
welcome. And for those who don't know, Tasha T. Sizzle is an official hit maker for the Extra Point, the unseen voice that gives you all the great material that you hear each and every week. She does the behind the scenes work down there in the DR. There would be no show without her. So, with her having some free time, I figured we put her ass in the hot seat for a change.
Woo!
You
See a little
ready?
smoke coming up.
You got your shades. You ready for the hot seat?
I'm ready.
All right, so we're gonna start with tomorrow's game. Yes, there is a game tomorrow between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens.
Finally.
Before we get into the matchup itself, you being a 49er fan, I wanted to ask you this when I saw how this unfolded. Now, my Tennessee Titans, they got a mulligan when we had the Rona breakout. They moved everybody's schedule around so we could play. We see this happening with Baltimore right now.
Hmm.
But in the case of the 49ers, when y'all had an outbreak plus a whole bunch of injuries and people going to IR, and most recently this weekend with Denver not having any quarterbacks and the NFL making them play anyway, what are your thoughts on that? Is that a double standard?
At first, when I thought it was only going to be the Niners, I did. I got mad. I got a little perturbed about that. But when I saw that they were forcing Denver to play with no QB, I mean, they got that boy
Right,
from what, like Home Depot or something to, I mean, shouts out to him for, giving it basically the old college try because that's the last time he actually played quarterback. Um,
right,
Shouts out to him. But the fact that they made the Broncos play made me feel a little better. But at first, I was like, all these teams are getting rescheduled, but yet they made the Niners play. We already a mash unit. Now, I
right.
understand you can't make up for the mash unit, but you do have that, 52, 53 man roster, so you're supposed to have replacements at all times. So the
Right.
fact that they just keep rescheduling this Raven Steeler game, I mean, I know they're the darlings of the league right now, the Steelers, because they're undefeated, but I just thought it was a little I do think they're showing a little favoritism to the Steelers right about now.
To the Steelers to make sure that everything stays in line with them. Now let's stick
Hmm.
with those Steelers. They are the lone remaining undefeated team in the NFL. But let me ask you this, T. Sizzle. Are they the best team in the NFL, or do they just have the best record in the NFL?
I'm gonna always bet on black. I got. I know Big Ben has a lot of faults. People don't like some of the things that happened in his past or what have you. But I just always think when Big Ben is playing, you have a chance. And I
Right.
think that kind of puts them up there. I'll say my 1A and B would probably be the Steelers and the Chiefs
And the Chiefs.
right about now.
So you are convinced that this is not just a record. They are the best team in the NFL right now.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they seem to be. Everything seems to be working. Everything is like it's
Right.
like a well-oiled machine right about now. The
Right.
defense is playing. Like I said, Big Ben is back there. You always have confidence when Big Ben is back there.
Right.
So yeah, yeah. But I mean, oh, you really can't go by that record because the Patriots went undefeated that year and got beat by a helmet catch,
They did,
in the
literally.
in the Super Bowl. Yeah. So you really can't records really don't indicate, but they're playing well.
They are. They are playing well. Let's flip to their opponent, the Baltimore Ravens. Now they started out the season what 4-1, 5-2, and they have really went into a tailspin since then. Lamar Jackson doesn't look like the MVP that he was a year ago. That's just the eye in the sky don't lie. Why do you think
Mm.
that's the case this year?
I think we discussed this earlier. Somebody broke the cheat code. Like because let's face it, Lamar Jackson was a walking cheat code. I mean, I
He was.
remember I watched his first game. It was in the Georgia Dome. I forgot who they were playing when he was in Louisville. And when he hurt, I mean, I remember I was sitting on the bed and I raised up. I will never forget that. And I said, this boy's going to be a problem. And then when he gets to Baltimore, he's MVP. He's just doing it well. But I think someone had mentioned it earlier that he's a running quarterback who just happens to throw. It's
Okay.
even though I'm good with, a running quarterback, but sometimes you when you rely on your legs too much, it kind of causes a problem. And people figure that out. If they know,
Right.
okay, he's going to run first, that people figure you out after that.
Now, we have seen a couple of examples, most notably with our own teams. You saw Steve Young go from a mobile quarterback to a pocket passer and become a champion and an MVP. Now, Steve McNair did all of those but become a champion, but he did evolve his game. Do you see any
Hmm.
of those traits in Lamar that he may be able to do that too?
I hope so.
Oh, it's taking you too long to answer that.
I hope so because I don't want to see the brother, go from MVP to nothing. I don't want to
Right,
see him be, how they
right,
say, oh, when you win the Heisman Trophy, most of the Heisman Trophy winners fizzle out in the NFL, or the Madden jinx. Like I don't
right,
want that to happen to him. I want the young brother to to prosper. I want him to do well.
right. Right. No doubt. No doubt. So what are your predictions for tomorrow's game? It's at 2:40 Central Time here in the United States, that is.
It'll
Um,
be 4:40 here when it comes on. Like, what is the year 2032? They're finally playing this game.
right. It'll be on
Um,
right before Ellen and right after Days of Our Lives.
but the one thing I do find ironic, the Steelers were popping all that jump about people with the Rona, and then here you go, James
Right.
Conner, bless his soul, because he is a cancer survivor,
Right.
has
Right. Right. Right.
tested positive.
Right.
Um, I think, oh, isn't RG3 supposed to be in at quarterback
That might be an
for the
upgrade
Ravens?
because RG3 does have a cannon and he has read NFL defenses at a higher level than Lamar has so far in his career.
Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking. With him in at quarterback, the passing game is going to be open. But aren't a lot of the offensive linemen the ones that have COVID? Oh, I'm going to go with the Steelers simply because they have more available healthy players.
Right.
They
Right.
don't have
And
so
I
many of
think
their
that
star caliber out with COVID.
right. No Lamar Jackson, just forget about it. If you ask
Hmm.
me,
Basically.
with that defense and TJ Watt, I think that RG3 can throw the ball a little bit better than Lamar. But no, man, you giving Coach Tomlin all these extra days to prepare for you? I don't think so. Um,
Yeah.
Now let's talk about another quarterback coach combination. Now, much was made about Tom Brady going to Tampa Bay and all of the weapons that he had and all the expectations they have in Tampa. Everybody was talking about Bill Belichick having to start over with Cam Newton. There's no weapons in New England. There's nothing expected of them at all. But by my sheets here, looks like that if New England wins their next game, they're just one game behind Tampa Bay in the win-loss column. Tampa Bay 7-5. New England could be 6-6, one game behind if they win. Let's revisit this? Who won the divorce, quote unquote, between Brady and Belichick? Do you still think it's Brady at this point?
Oh, wait a minute. Before I comment on that, I see you. Shouts out to our fallen brother Carlos,
Shouts
R.I.P.
out,
Bro,
hey, way to catch that! Shouts
with
out
the
to our
Seahawks
fallen brother
lid on.
Carlos. I
Okay,
figured if we was gonna be on here, he was gonna be watching. So,
okay. Now back to your question. I think both of them are being exposed.
ah,
They need each other. First of all, you cannot go from, and even though Brady is a Michigan man. Go blue.
Go blue.
He's not. I don't like him because of that tuck rule game. I will never forget that game.
This
That should have
man
been
right
Charles
here
Woodson and
won
Jerry
the
Rice's.
game.
Yes, he did.
He won
Charles
the
Woodson
game.
did that. But okay, I digress. Um, you cannot replace a Tom Brady with a Cam Newton. You know, he's
No.
coming in looking like Geppetto and everything else, looking wearing lederhosens from Deutschland. You know, you can't replace, you cannot replace a Tom Brady with a Cam Newton. And I think Belichick, of course, he flourished when Brady was there, but Brady also flourished in that system. And you
Right.
notice now how Tom Brady is not getting the benefit of all those calls like he was getting in New England
Right.
either.
Right. Um, I love that you actually went to the Brady and Belichick system because that's the one part that I think is lost in all of this. That's why I'm leaning more towards wow, Belichick really is the man. I mean, if you look at at what Tom Brady has around him with the Gronk, yeah, you got Mike Evans, and you got Chris Godwin, you
Hmm.
got Antonio Brown, you got 3, 4 running backs.
And the thing is, those are people who, like they say, well, Bruce Arians is allegedly alleging that those are people that Brady wanted. And look at all the people who chose not to play in New England this year
Right,
due to COVID.
right. So that's almost
So,
like a double punch to the gut if you Bill Belichick. So, but
hmm
still, somehow, some way, he's beaten Miami, a playoff
hmm
team right now.
hmm
Arizona this past Sunday, playoff contender right now. The
well, that was
Raiders.
a field goal with, no time left on the clock.
But yeah, but you gotta get the W when you get the W.
Yeah, yeah.
Meanwhile, in Tampa Bay, what is a successful season this year in Tampa Bay with Tom Brady? Because right now, 7-5 and 6 in the NFC, I don't think that's what they signed up for.
The thing is, with them, because they got Tom Terrific, they feel like it's Super Bowl or bust. Not even Super Bowl is winning the
You
Super Bowl.
disagree? You disagree with that?
No, I do agree because you basically handed over the reins. You took to me they are taking control away from Bruce Arians. They're giving it to Tom Brady because they feel like Tom Brady is some god and they're letting him basically run everything. You know I hate Tom Brady. I hate Tom Brady. Um they're allowing him because you remember Aaron. I think I don't know if I sent the clip. I think I did send the clip to you. How Arians was the first one saying he did not want AB there,
Right,
but then you
right,
get AB. He moves
right.
in
And
with
I took that
Tom,
right
and
to the airwaves. Like when you dropped me that nugget, I took that right to the air. So yeah, yeah,
I mean Tom
that's
is
all
gonna
Brady.
right if they don't win that Super Bowl, do they? Well, Tom what got 2 years? They
Yeah,
signed Tom for 2 years, right? But
right.
will they bring Gronk back? Because Gronk is not the same Gronk,
Hell
you
no,
know.
hell no.
And Gronk,
And
and I
Gronk
mean,
probably wouldn't want to come back.
right. And I hate to bring this up. Gronk better thank Aaron Hernandez every day for his career. Because had Aaron Hernandez not win Aaron Hernandez, there
Right.
would be no Gronk.
That's very true. That's very true.
But Gronk is a shell of himself. And they got all that cadre of running backs, but what are they doing with all those running backs?
Well, it, a stat that I saw the other day that I think it was yesterday that really blew my mind was the fact that their leading running back Thomas Jones. You know who has more carries than him this year so far?
Who?
376-year-old Frank Gore in New York.
The
He
U.
only
Get up off of Frank Gore. He was a Niner.
the you right. No, but I'm just saying, if Frank Gore got as many touches as your quote unquote starting back, then obviously you're not running the ball enough. And they got
And I know
talented running backs there. I'm not. I don't understand.
Yeah, and they were saying something about something about the passing game or something about short run because our one of our classmates whose son just happened to play for Tampa Bay. I know she was saying
Right.
something to the effect of um her son being a pass catcher, and that's one of the areas that they were lacking in. And if he's the one that's actually catching the ball, why doesn't he get more playing time if the other running backs are ineffective? Because I think he hasn't dressed for the last 2 games, if I'm not mistaken.
That's a you know what? That's a great point because one of Tom Brady's strengths in New England was throwing it to check down running back. He made
Hmm.
household names out of people like Rex Burkhead and James White because they caught the ball all the time. So
Hmm.
like for
Hmm.
him to not to have the best option as a you know what? I don't know. This sounds like this is going to be another headbutting contest between coach and player, just like Tom Brady
Mm-hmm.
had in New England. Because Bruce
Right.
Arians is setting the stage of, okay, if y'all gonna try me against him thing, I'm gonna let y'all know he's calling these plays. He brought in all these players. He's the one effing up on the field.
Oh, it ain't my fault. Did I do that? It
Don't
ain't
do
my fault. That's
don't.
why my
No,
meat and
no,
potatoes come from my little. Oh, sorry.
no. I really looked around for mystical on that. That was a good job. But you ought to get on the Masked Singer and do that. Um, as we continue, the hot seat continues for Miss Tasha T. Sizzle. This is your boy, Mr. P.L. Colter. This is the Extra Point After Dark, as you can see in Tasha's beautiful background. Um, T. Sizzle, you haven't been as vocal about this as I thought you'd be this year, so I just want to take the opportunity now to gauge what you really think about the 2020 version of the Dallas Cowboys. Damn, she just busted out laughing. That's gonna be a meme. She started laughing. Wow.
Paul,
Hold up,
what
hold
is
up,
the
hold up. We still them
what is the
boys.
we them boys? Mm.
Hold
Y'all
up.
still them boys in my Shannon Sharp voice.
What do you think?
Paul, what's the one thing I always tell you whenever you bring up the Cowboys? I say the best thing about that organization is them dancing girls.
And look, and shouts out to Mini Me. Miss Sasha Denise said you're gonna get bit by the mosquitoes.
I'm protected. I'm protected.
So okay, so other than the
Well,
dancing girls who seem to still be doing their job, where do you think it all went wrong this year for Dallas?
I can't even say. Well, the thing is, you never really know how Dak is, but I really think Dak being out has hurt them a lot,
Can
a
you say that a
whole
little
lot.
louder for the people in the back of the pool area?
Dak being out hurt them a whole lot.
I
But
totally
shouts out
agree.
to that brother. Yeah, Hale State, Mississippi State. I hope he's on the mend. The ankle gets better, but that really hurt Dallas a lot. And then with old feed him. What do you say? What does this tattoo say? Feed me, belly shirt,
Oh,
fumbling the
Zeke.
ball. Yes,
Right,
Zeke.
right,
Fumbling the ball, and it's just something that's just off. It's just something that's just it's just something off about that. Every year is something off about that organization. I can never put my finger on it. They start off with so much promise. And then by
right.
the third or fourth game every year, it's the same thing.
It's the same thing. And I would love to use Dak as the ultimate like excuse for the Cowboys, but
But you can't.
did we all tout Red Rifle as the best backup acquisition in the league last year, this past offseason?
Well,
It wasn't
I
supposed to be a
didn't.
drop off.
Well, I didn't because like it's only so much blame that you can lay on a coach in Cincinnati. They got
Right.
uh fired what's his name? Marvin Lewis.
Marvin
Fired
Lewis.
Marvin Lewis,
Hmm.
and you still had the same quarterback. Sometimes it's not always the coach, and it's the pieces. I mean, he was effective at Texas Tech and everything, and for the most part in Cincinnati, he did a pretty good job. But I really don't think he was the answer.
Right.
I mean, he's a viable backup, but no one really expected Dak to go out the way he did.
Right.
But I
And
always
like
thought that they
right.
were not going to pay Dak, and Dak was going to go somewhere else because that's who they wanted to be their quarterback. They wanted old redhead, the what do you call it? Uh,
Red Rifle.
Red Rifle. They wanted Red Rifle. That's the way I saw it when he first got there. I said because why
Right.
would you get a quarterback who's supposed to be of his caliber, of his standing,
Right.
to be your backup?
Right. And you can get him for pennies on a dollar on the re-up.
Right, right.
Right. Okay. But okay, so riddle me this. Dak does become an unrestricted free agent. Your 49ers looking?
Look, We need all the help we can get. I think I told you that once before. Again, it's
He's
another
an upgrade over
organization.
Garoppolo, correct?
He oh yes, major
Okay,
upgrade.
okay,
But again,
okay.
with my 49ers, it's the same thing. What is going on there? Like you can't even. I know we got a lot of injuries and this and that thing, but it's
A lot
still.
of injuries. You think
Yeah, I
your
mean, look,
whole
we
team
have.
is injured?
Yeah, the whole team is like I said, we're a walking mass unit, but it's just something wrong. I don't understand like what sometimes what's going on. And I had this discussion with somebody else too. Have you noticed just league wide how terrible the league is this year? Like how many teams do you have that are under 500
Right,
or that are
right,
barely surviving? And
right.
it's like this. I mean, I know it has to be more than the COVID, or maybe it is just a COVID hangover. But for the NFC East, that's
Right.
embarrassing. The
Now, I'm
Giants are
glad
leading
you
with
brought up.
4 wins.
No, I'm glad you brought up the NFC East because I'm gonna I'm gonna go down the tiers of that division, and you let's play a real quick game of hang in there, have a seat. I'm gonna give you the team. You tell me if they should hang in the playoff race and get drubbed by Tampa Bay or who else is Arizona or the Rams or Seattle, who depends on who wins
Hmm.
that division, or should they bow out, have a seat, and get them a top five pick? All right, let's go. The division leaders right now, the New York Giants. Hang in there or have a seat.
Hang. No, hang. No, I'm not gonna say that. Have a seat. I was gonna say something,
Really?
but I'm not
You
gonna
think
say
they should go for another top five pick?
because didn't what's the quarterback Daniel? What's his last name?
Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones. Didn't he get hurt?
Yes, he's going to be out for a few weeks, a couple of weeks. Yeah.
But then again, I didn't think he was a good draft choice when they drafted him.
So if you had an opportunity to get Justin Fields or Trevor Lawrence, you'd do what Arizona did. You'd move on from Josh Rosen after a year and go and draft you
Hmm.
another top 10 quarterback.
Yes, yes. You might as
Oh well,
well
in that
because he's
right.
go ahead
No. I'm listening.
because he's still playing to me some on some instances as if he's still in college. He's not looking like a pro. I mean, when he ran for that touchdown and failed, well, didn't even make it to the goal and failed,
Right. He
which
needed a
happens to
V8.
a
That's
lot of
all.
people. He needed a Red Bull. He needed some wings. You know, I mean, the turf monster does grab a lot of people, but there was nobody. Peyton Manning could
Right.
have ran that in.
Right. Right. Archie Manning could have ran that in.
Olivia
Damn it.
Manning, the mom could have ran. Olivia, shouts out Mrs. Manning, Olivia.
Um, Look, real quick before we get back into football, did you see the fight this weekend? did, you, did you see the fight? And shouts
Well,
out to my boy Dre Day all day, every day. Thanks for checking it out.
I
That's my
didn't
dude.
see it. I didn't see it
You
live
didn't see
because
it?
there was no pay per view here. I saw it. Well, of course, I'm 2 hours ahead of everyone. Well, in Central Time, and when I woke up that morning, I caught a loop of it, and I was like, "Oh, okay." First of all, it wasn't a draw. I think it was already set up to be a draw because both of them received a belt, so it was already
Right,
set to be a draw. But poor
right,
Nate. I mean,
right. That's what I
see,
really want to
Nate.
talk. That's why I even asked if you saw the fight. Did you see Nate Robinson do it for the culture? Ask the culture. Speak for the culture right now. What does the
No,
culture have to say to Nate Robinson?
he didn't do it for my culture. I don't know what he was doing that for. But that's when keeping it real goes wrong because
Right,
he's out here. Oh, I'm an athlete. I can do this, and you got beat by a YouTuber who used to
right.
date Jose Canseco's daughter. Like, you get, and it's not
But see,
funny because the
that's the
man,
mentality that get a lot of people
hmm
knocked out at
right?
downtown Broadway.
But it's like, you felt bad for him. But I mean, those memes that they've been coming up with, I can't. I'm laughing. I can't help it. I'm glad the brother's okay. He came out with a tweet the next day, saying, that he was grateful and this and thing and he was okay. But man, you look like Pacquiao.
Oh, he did. He did look like Pacquiao. The only thing worse that could have happened was him to get knocked through the ropes. But don't knock little man through the ropes. But see, let me look. This is from all my brothers out there, all my young Thundercats, because At our age, we just gonna shoot you. Like ain't none of that. I'm not gonna be squaring up with nobody.
I'm not
Um,
going to drag anybody. I'm not going to do any of that.
right. We gonna keep all your weave in place and everything. I'm just saying, do your young cats don't look? Don't just be looking at nobody nowadays and be thinking you're gonna whoop them because, like you said, he probably thinking, man, I used to beat up fools in jail. I beat up dudes on the block. This is a YouTuber. YouTuber
Hmm.
had hands.
Right. He had them hands. Hands.
Would you, if offered, where you are in the Dominican Republic, would you actually pay the pay-per-view for another Tyson fight? Because he says he wants to fight again.
If it's not already set up to be a draw. I mean, I've always been a Mighty Mike fan. Mike was just he was
Right,
just that one, especially growing up in our age bracket.
right,
That's what we had. Of course, when we were little, we
right,
had like what was it, the middle weights like Sugar Ray and
right.
Marvin Hack. That's what we had. But when we were at high school, going into college, all we had was Mike Tyson.
He ushered
So,
in the pay-per-view era.
yeah, yeah. So, I the thing is, Mike is still a draw to me. It's something about Mike Tyson that makes me want to watch him.
I would watch it for one reason and one reason only, and that's if Snoop gets to commentate.
Oh Lord,
Snoop gets the "Don't You Ever Shut the Hell Up" award.
when he fell out, Snoop said, "Oh Lord." I think I sent it to your sister like 16 times. We kept sending that same clip in different forms to each other all day long. Oh Lord, precious Lord.
Right, precious Lord. He was down there doing arithmetic and everything. Down there. They think they couldn't even put him back on the stool. That was bad. Nate Robinson. That was that was that was that was bad. Okay, so all right. So now let me take a gulp. I so now is the time that I've been dreading for months now. What about 2, 3 months now? A couple of months ago in the extra point, for weeks on end, I stomped, I ranted, I raved, I screamed, I yelled, I pouted. I wanted my college football. I wanted my Michigan football. There was a voice in the room who may or may not be on this screen with me that from day one said, Paul, use a new fool. This ain't gonna work. It can't work. Michigan does not need to play this year. I don't see nothing good coming out of this. To which me wanting to get my way, I got my way, and now my team is in the midst of one of the worst seasons I've ever seen in my 40 years plus on this earth. College football is a wreck. You have to literally wake up on game day to find out what teams are going to be playing and if there's going to be any programming on your local cable station.
Or if you're the Florida State Seminoles, cancel 2 or 3 hours before kickoff. Two
2 or 3 hours
Saturdays in a row.
before kickoff, when I'd have made the investment to get there, drive there, hotel lodging, what have you. Oh no, I'm about to whoop some ass. So, with all of the disasters that's gone on since they kicked off, let's just keep it real. Tasha T. Sizzle, here's your time to take your victory lap and tell the whole world that you told us so.
Ever since I can remember, I've been popping my collar, popping my
Hey,
collar, popping
hey,
my collar. I
hey.
told you, I told you,
I'm
I
shamefaced.
told you, I told you this was a bad idea from the at all this season. I said they need to cancel this season for the health of these young college players.
Now, see, now for anybody who's watching, this is not me. she she has dipped out in the middle of her victory lap. Hopefully, she'll be back in a moment. But till she comes back, like no, like for real. Um, College football has been an absolute wreck this year. It has. It's been an absolute mess. You got different conferences doing different things. You got different conferences having different sets of COVID protocols. You got games getting canceled. And Langston, I do not play dirty. Langston, I do not play dirty. I did not. I do, hold on. No. I do not play dirty. Langston, hear me out. She dropped. Look, she's in the Dominican Republic. I'm sure she'll be back on with us in just a moment. But until she does, and I think she's here now. So let me go ahead and get her back to the stream.
Okay, can you
Tasha,
hear me? Can you hear me?
Link instead I play dirty. He thought I clipped you right when you. I
Shots
would do
out,
something like
Firebird.
that.
But back to my soliloquy. Let me get
Right,
up under
right.
this
Back
light.
to your victory lap. Yeah.
Let me get up under this light.
What's
I
up,
told
KD?
you. I told you. I told you. They had no business playing football this season. These are some of the most greediest people on earth. They did it for money because they put a lot of people in, not just the players, not just the quote unquote college athletes, the student athletes. They put workers in jeopardy, the people who have to work at at the arenas. They
Right.
put the university, they put fans. I mean, my thing is, if you're I was watching the Texas A&M LSU game, and my friend's daughter cheers at LSU, and I sent
Hmm.
her a text and I said, I cannot believe all these yahoos at this game. If you're
Oh yeah,
going
those
to be
SEC games be packed.
right, if you're going to be stupid enough to go out there to basically a super spreader event, by all means, I'm not going to stop you. Go ahead, be foolish, get that Rona. But by doing that, you are allowing these people to make that bad choice because obviously these people are not making good choices. It's not that important to be at the football game. It's not that important. These universities and even I mean a lot of these sports the NBA got it right. No one came down with a case of COVID, but you got the NFL. You look at baseball. Baseball had COVID. College football. Look, college basketball now. You got games being canceled. Games already having to be scheduled even before the first tip off.
Right.
It's not a safe time because people are not responsible. Look here, I have 9 masks, but I just washed 2 of my masks, 1 and 2. These are 2 masks that I wash because I wear a mask everywhere I go. These people refuse to wear masks. They don't want to wash their hands. It's not safe. It's just not trying to be political or anything, but it's just not safe to have that many people in a contained area, even though it is outside. What if somebody coughs or sneezes and the wind blows and it's in your face? You got the Rona.
You
you
got the
know?
Rona. Okay. No, and oh, you were right. You were right. You said this was going to be a disaster. Nobody was going to be able to get through a whole schedule.
Mm-hmm.
The one team that has though, I think is where the football god said, I'm gonna give you what you asked for, and I'm gonna tell you to quit testing fate because the Michigan Wolverines hadn't missed a game this year, and they hadn't showed up for
Why?
one.
Why? They have missed games. They've missed several.
We have the worst team in Power Five right now. Tasha T. Sizzle. Last week, the University of Michigan, where this man right here took it up the left sideline to the house in the big house in '97 to send us to the Rose Bowl.
Rolls in the mouth.
Rose in the mouth and all. Now we lose to an 0-5 Penn State team. We didn't just lose to Penn State. We got bodied by Penn State. Your thoughts, Tasha? Is it
Let's
time
let's
to
go.
let go of Captain Khaki? Is it
Wait a
time
minute.
for Jim Harbaugh to go?
Let's go back to the week before. And I sent you this and I said, yeah, he's not going to reply to this. It took us 3 overtimes to beat Rutgers. We talking about
Yeah,
Rutgers?
I was hurt when you said that. I was hurt. I needed a day to process that you minimized that victory.
And I think I tweeted you and Mike when they lost to Wisconsin, even though it is Wisconsin, which is not a basement or also ran of the Big Ten. I said he needs to go. It's time for him to pull those flat fronts off. Time for Walmart to have a sale. They got to get those khakis out of there. It's time to go.
It's
It's
time to
time to
go.
go. We got
Like
to
we
sit
got
up here with the Jordan brand, gear, and we fresh to death, but we out there playing like stepped on poop.
right. This after dark. You go ahead, go get down for
Oh,
yours.
okay, good. We out there playing like stepped on shit, and we look like
Right,
stepped on shit. What happened? Man, we
right.
had so much faith in JoJo. What I mean, is the stage too big for JoJo? But it's not even fans in the stadium.
It's not even fans in the stadium, and here's why I'm not even gonna put this on JoJo. I'm putting this right there on the square pants of Khaki Man himself, because this is why I think I need him gone right after the season. Because first of all, I don't know what it's going to take for me to sit there and watch the Ohio game this year. How much of that game do you think you're going to be able to get through? You going to watch the whole thing?
Well, normally when they play Little Brother U and Ohio, if they don't play right, after I've cussed and slid on the hardwood floor and pulled my back out, I change the channel.
Yeah,
I change the channel. I go on Twitter or my ESPN app and look at the score. And if they lose, I don't even watch Sports Center that Sunday because first of all, I don't want to hear
right.
Paul Feinbaum. I love
Oh
Mr.
yeah,
Feinbaum.
and on
He's a
first
great man.
take and all. Right,
I
right,
don't want to hear him talk about how bad Michigan is. You know what? We know this. We know we're bad. We know this. But I really think, I mean, the thing is, somebody wrote this article and they said, what is wrong? Because he was the savior. He was
right,
handpicked. He's a Michigan guy.
right.
He knows the system. He knows the ways of Michigan. This is when he was there. This is not the way Michigan was. What is going on?
My own gut feeling is that he's married to a method. And if you look at Alabama, you look at Clemson, you look at Ohio State, they accepted the fact that now it's a throwing league where you need a dual threat quarterback, athletic quarterback with an arm who was bred that way from fifth grade to and get a bunch of explosive people on the outside and outscore people. We still doing the defense first, and credit to him, we do have a lot of defensive stars in the
Yeah,
league,
yeah.
especially a lot of young stars. So
Hmm.
if you're a great defensive player, Michigan will coach you up and get you ready to get your money. But I'm worried
Hmm.
about the quarterback. And that's where we keep falling short because we keep falling short at quarterback. Harbaugh's not developing these quarterbacks. So
And
when
and
JJ
he
Five
was.
Star McCarthy, no, go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
No, I'm
And
saying
that's
when
what he
JJ
was.
Five Star McCarthy come through, I don't want him there stunting his growth.
It's the thing that he was labeled as the quarterback whisperer
Right,
and
right,
all of this, but the last few quarterbacks that you have had have all been shitty.
right,
They just haven't.
right,
They're not talented or they're not being coached right. I mean, I'm not going to even say they're not talented because if you coach them right, they can be halfway decent.
right. If you
You know,
get
Sha
recruited by Michigan, you talented.
you
You got to
talented.
recruit it over.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And then
like,
you think about it too, we are very, very young at the receiving core. We are
right,
very young.
right,
Uh, we had some receivers that probably should not have gone to the draft who could have stayed there and
right.
and helped us.
Nico,
Right. Nico Collins should have. I mean, well, he's at Cleveland now. Nico should have stayed. Didn't Peoples Jones he got out because of COVID, right?
mm-hmm.
If I'm not mistaken. But
Right,
we only have like one receiver that's back with experience, and he's like a junior. But the other ones are all freshmen or sophomores who really have not played. And then by you
right,
not playing, like I think JoJo should have gotten more reps last year. I don't even
right,
think they have that rhythm that they should
right,
have by now. They don't have that rhythm with him. And then the
right. And that's a
COVID,
great
you
point.
couldn't practice like you needed to or like you
Right.
wanted to. So there's no connection there.
Right. I say we just start new. You haven't renewed his contract for a reason. Normally, coaches of his ilk don't get this far into their contract without it being renewed. If with that, without some kind of trepidation by the
Mm-hmm.
boosters or somebody, it's probably the
Mm-hmm.
boosters who's kicking in the money for that contract. So I say
Mm-hmm.
let's just go ahead and call it Jawan's town right now. Jawan got that thing rolling, and when football catch up to the party, they can hop back on the bus. But right now, we're
Right.
thinking about Final Fours because
Right.
we got the number one recruiting thing in the nation. for next year,
Mm-hmm.
and we got Sweet 16 talent this year.
We do. We do. I'm looking. I'm looking forward to seeing what Jay Howard's gonna put out there. Um, he did. Well, he got the fisticuffs with one of his players the other night. I'm like, you don't want to test Jay Howard now.
Right,
You don't
right.
want to
He
test
from
him.
Southside Chicago.
Right. He from Southside. You don't want to, buck up to him. But I'm looking forward to that, seeing how football is on the decline, obviously
Right.
on the decline. And I have a shirt, and I just was waiting to wear it. It's a shirt. It has the big house on it. It is the seating plan of the big house. It
Mhm.
still has a tag on it. I ain't even put it on because I'm just like,
Right,
I'm not gonna even waste
right,
this shirt. I'm not gonna
right,
waste it.
right. Right. I'm gonna work these next 2 Saturdays and like I said, get ready for the Sweet 16. Now, we're about to slide up out of here, but we're not gonna slide up out of here without putting Tasha back on the hot seat. Now,
Oh, let me get
Tasha,
my
we're gonna
shades
play.
on. Wait, let
Right,
me get my
get the
shades.
shades ready because we're gonna play a TEP After Dark hometown flavor edition of Start One, Sit One, Cut One. All right, Tasha T. Sizzle. You got three running backs, one game for your life. You got Derrick Henry, Chris Johnson, Eddie George. Start one, sit one, cut one. Tennessee
And it's
flavor.
I'm gonna start Chris. I'm gonna sit Derek, and not because of his age. I'm gonna cut Eddie because Eddie he always nutted up against Stab and Ray. He was scared to take that hit. As big, you 6'3", 230. You scared to take that hit from Stab and Ray.
Where's that white soup, Ray?
Where's the suit?
Um, you know what? As much as it pains me to have his signed jersey right here behind me, I totally agree with the order that um like I forgot about him folding up to those Ravens teams and Derrick Henry beating the Ravens in his rendition of the rivalry. But also Derrick and Chris can take it 95. They can go 95 and just wipe out the whole drive on one play. Eddie
Chris was
gonna
just
have
so
to
elusive. He was just so. Oh, it was just something about Chris Johnson. It was just something
right.
about him.
Okay, all right. So we agreed there. Okay, all right. Next up, the last time the San Francisco 49ers won a Super Bowl was 1995. Now, there were three Hall of Fame players on that squad. You get to do this Super Bowl over, but you can only start one, sit one, and one got to go. We have Steve Young, we have Jerry Rice, and we have Deion Sanders. We have Jerry Rice, we have Steve Young, we have Deion Sanders from that 95 team. Start one, sit one, cut one, Tasha, damn it.
First of all, Jerry Rice is the best thing on earth to me. So of course he's going to start. He is
The GOAT.
always going to be my starter. As long as he keeps that, the hair shade. We tried to get them twists at one time and they started back here.
When they gave him the salute, what
you
up,
know, he
Wild
ended his
Dizzy?
he ended his career in Denver. I guess he was doing the mile high salute back in them days. But boy, them junks was starting like right at the crown. Like,
Tell
yeah.
him to drop the top. Just drop the top, Jerry. Okay, so we
So
got Jerry Rice starts.
I'm gonna start Jerry. I'm gonna sit Steve, and I'm gonna have to cut Dion simply because he was. I mean, I know Steve started at Tampa, but Dion was technically not an original 49er.
You
He
see, that's
made it.
why I specifically said the Super Bowl team, the
Hmm.
'95 Super Bowl team, just that
Yeah,
roster. You cutting the defensive player of the year from '95?
because man, it's just. I mean, as I'm doing the Dion dance into the end zone, it's just. I
Go,
mean, But I just remember when they won that Super Bowl, the first thing Steve Young did was go like this, and he said, "Get that monkey off my back."
that is
So I
correct.
can't, I,
That's
I
true.
can't cut my Steve Young. I gotta,
That's
we gotta bench it, but you got because you can have anybody throwing to Jerry Rice.
okay. All right. All right. Now, next up, we have Los Angeles, California, Nevada, Las Vegas, Miami Beach, South Florida.
Uh,
Start one, sit one, cut one.
I'm gonna cut. I'm gonna start just with the cut. I'm gonna cut L.A. I'm just not a Big California fan, never have
Really?
been.
I figured you and
Yes.
Sasha be out there with your bikinis on, playing volleyball
Mm-mm.
on Venice Beach.
Out on bail, fresh out of jail, California dreaming. Soon as the okay, sorry. R.I.P. Pop. Um, and and since I live on a everyday beach, I'm gonna sit Miami, and I'm just gonna take Vegas, man. I'm tell you right now, out of everywhere that I have traveled in life, I have never kicked it so hard as I did in Vegas. I mean, to the point that I was so
Yeah.
drunk I thought I was holding the wall up in the club.
Now, Sasha says she's never been to LA. That's on you. Use some of
Hey,
them
that's
points you got. Hell, you got more
mm-mm.
points than Denzel on that movie when he flew the plane upside down.
She's grown and she's selling coffee, got her own company. She can make some
Hey,
money. She can go
let's
on.
take a moment to plug Sasha's business. Go ahead.
Oh, it's called May Jane's Coffee. It's www.may M-A-E Jane Jane Coffee. It's named after both of her great grandmothers. It's
Oh, all right.
My grandmother's name was Jane, and her father's mother, they called her May. So that's what it's named after. But please, guys, support her. She's 25. She's young. She's out there trying to make it. Just
B.O.B.
please, right? Go buy some coffee. Log on. She'll ship it to you. Just go ahead and place your order. You can go on my Facebook, on my Instagram stories, on my Instagram. You can go on hers and look it up. Her name's Sasha Denise on Facebook. You can go there and find it.
I'll make sure that I plug that on the show Friday as well. Sasha, just put that in the comments. Make sure y'all support this girl. Like, this isn't an OnlyFans account. Not disrespecting those OnlyFans girls. This is a college educated, always been about her grind, raised right, proper, trying to get her money right, starting her own business, taking control of her own legacy. Let's support that. If we say Black Lives Matter, then let's show Sasha some support. Black
Right.
Queens Unite, we got to support them.
Strange.
But
Strange.
but you ain't off the hot seat.
Oh man. Okay, let me
We
straighten my okay.
we got one for the road, and you better make sure you do this one right. We got Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant. Go.
As much as I hate MJ, he's starting.
What?
I was a Dominique and Patrick Ewing fan. I really never was a fan of Jordan, but Jordan was cold.
Jordan. So
Now,
Jordan is the goat in your eyes.
yes, yes, he is. And I'm not even a Jordan fan. So let's just get that out there. He is
She's
the
not.
GOAT.
She's not. She's not a Jordan fan. Jordan fan. No, she's not.
Um,
That's why
the
I'm sitting here
next
so surprised.
the next two, because I didn't like Kobe. R.I.P. Kobe. It's tragic. Praying for Vanessa and the family. Um, I wasn't a Kobe fan, and I'm really not a LeBron fan.
One of them got to go.
This is
One of
hard.
them get the
I'm
backup mic. One of them got to go.
I'm going to say Kobe. I'm gonna sit Kobe, and I'm gonna have to cut LeBron because Kobe does have that I'm going to win at all costs mentality. I'm gonna fuck it. I'm gonna take that shot. I'm not gonna pass it or let J.R. Smith take a timeout. I'm not. Kobe is made. My Achilles is torn, but let me get up and let me get these free throws in real fast before I get back into this training table. Like,
Is
yeah,
this
Kobe
helicopter
was
love?
well. Man, Kobe
Uh
used to
huh. This
cut
is
throat.
a little helicopter love because your own daughter, your own DNA says she's cutting Kobe.
Hey, I don't know. That she's
Sasha's right. She's cutting Kobe. It's all right. It's all right.
Sasha's
This is the after dark session. On the
Sasha's
radio,
from a
we'll say you
different
cut LeBron.
era. She's from a different era. She really doesn't think too well at all times. You know. God bless the child that's got his own.
Right on, and she was cutting Kobe, and we're about to cut out. This was a pleasure. I think Tasha T Sizzle will be able to do this like on a frequent basis with my
Okay.
fingers crossed. Now that I got the hamster actually running in the cage in the background, giddy up, giddy up. What's shout out to people, and then we'll close this thing out.
Shouts out to everybody. Keep supporting this man right here. We've been friends for 30 years or so. Keep
Yes.
supporting this man on all avenues, channels, Instagram on the FBRN network. You can go as the FBRN
You got it.
dot
You
com.
got it.
Yeah, .com. I've been down here smoking. My mind is slipping. Um, Shouts out to my weed man, Peppy. Um, hey, you can do that here, okay?
This
You can do
right.
that
This
here.
is the after dark edition. Hey, you know what I'm saying? That's how we
Like
get
yeah,
down.
just keep supporting Paul, and just everybody just be safe. Everybody love one another. Just everybody just be supportive of everything positive in life. Keep that negativity in the background. Life is too short. Shouts out to Steph strong, as I sent her today, and she said not strong. Yes, Steph strong. That's what I mean. Strong, Steph. But yeah,
Yes.
so that's about it. That's about it.
It was a pleasure. You will be seeing a lot more of her as the football season comes to a close and the basketball season begins. This is your boy, Mr. P.L. Colter. Tasha T. Sizzle, we are out.
Peace out.